so I think I'll kick us off with a discussion topic. I was wondering what experience people have with like outsourcing work versus doing things yourself.
Ooh, I've had some interesting times there, I think, some experiences. All of them have been negative, actually. I've not really ever had a good experience of that sort of. I mean, to be fair, I've only done it like five or six times, but I think I learned a lot from that experience because I feel maybe I jumped into actually trying to find the person that wanted to do the job too quickly.
What was the job you were trying to outsource?
It was a couple of times graphic design, that sort of thing. And so actually, I outsourced it to them, and they kind of put it back. I feel like if they get it back to you quickly with certain things, it tends to be a bit of a worrying issue because it means they've probably not really put a lot of thought into it. So I had a chat with them about it, ended up parting ways. And then a few weeks later, I was just like going around trying to find stuff, like topics when I was researching how to code something. And I actually found the exact logo that he'd taken, just copied and just changed the color schemes on. So to be honest with you, in terms of like thoughts, I think what I learned from it at least was to kind of do some research into the people you're going to sort of take on a bit before and try and have more discussions with them. I think that's what I did many times after that, because I learned quite quickly that it wasn't really the best idea to just...
Where did you find him, George? Was it one of these
Upwork
marketplaces online?
Yeah, or? Upwork. I've never had any good experiences on Upwork, to be honest with you. That's just because...
No, I think the reviews give it away, mostly.
Say that again, sorry?
The reviews, he says.
The reviews give it away.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, though, because I found another one I found was on Dribble. Is it Dribble? I think it's Dribble. Yeah, I found a couple on there. The thing is, they had like a really nice portfolio of like what they were working on and things, and they seemed really good. But I don't know. I feel like, for me, I find it hard to find people because I think if you're trying to work on your idea and build something, if the person you're trying to get to help you is not as passionate about what you're trying to build, and they're clearly just doing it for the money, which, to be honest, is quite a lot of, like, you know, the majority of people you're trying to outsource it to, like 95%.
This is the issue. If you're not working with someone who's got stake, like equity, or you know, like an employee, they're not really going to give a shit. So it's like excuse my friend. But so I found the same. There are very few like good people, like who are just like good, decent human beings who are freelancers.
Yeah. I feel like part of it is the creative versus like rote work too. Like if it's just data entry, almost anybody can do it. If it's something creative, then probably you're going to get what you pay for. Like you really need somebody who's trying to make a career out of it. So like I've had some really good outcomes outsourcing designs to like I've been used to this one called Design Joy, and it's not cheap, but for what it is, it actually is. It's like I paid, when I was using them, it was like $500 a month or something like that. It was a fairly high price point, but for what they delivered, it was super affordable, you know. And but they're like really dedicated to making a business out of it, you know, versus making quick money. I think maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing now unlimited revisions. That's always a good sign, right?
Yeah, it's like they offer a lot for the price, even though it is like a higher price point.
I guess you do generally get what you pay for, though, don't you? To be honest, because if you're paying a premium, then you kind of you know that they're going to be fully in it because they're trying to make an actual very successful business out of it, and that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Whereas, not so. I guess to be fair though, it depends, because if you're just trying to build something and merely like the reasoning behind it is to get something quick, like an MVP, sometimes the actual quality of it doesn't really matter as much because you just need something. And I guess the circumstances you're in make that dependable quite a lot. Like it depends on that, because yeah, it could be that it needs to be good. On the other hand, it might not be. So. But I don't know. I try to do things myself now because I've realized I just started trying to learn basic design things, and I'm not very good at it because I'm a developer, really. Like That's kind of the thing. When I was younger, I was a lot more creative and a lot better at it. And then I think code got to me too much, and logic decided to take my creative side away. But for now, I just kind of build things knowing that the design's not great, with the intention that I'll fix that later, to be honest, as long as it works and does what it needs to do. But
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I feel comfortable making a small adjustment in Illustrator or Photoshop, but to actually make something cohesive on a larger scale is just out of my scope. I'd rather pay somebody else to do it well than half-ass it myself. Sometimes I will half-ass it myself and just do my best. It kind of depends on the vibe of the project. If I'm going for a polish, then somebody else has to do it. If it just needs to work, then I can make it usable.
Yeah, I completely agree, to be fair. I'm not the same, because as well, if you kind of, at that point when you're polishing things and outsource it to someone that can do it, you kind of, they're going to do a good job. And like you say, you less time spent on it yourself then as well. It costs money, but like, there are so many things we have to do when we're building our businesses and our ideas and things. It's kind of nice to outsource stuff from time to time where you can.
Yeah.
I think the topic is outsourcing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess.
Sorry, I don't want to deviate away from this. I think, George, I've just found your blog, and I'm about to move over to Ghost myself. I think I'm also using that exact. It looked really like my website. I was like, oh, what's going on here?
You found my blog, because my blog, I've been putting stuff on it, but I've not actually been sharing the blog anywhere yet, because I wanted to get the project that I'm building done first, which I'm almost finished with now. But I don't know how you found that. I haven't put it anywhere.
I just really want to know who you were, mate. You know what I did? I typed in George Field indie hackers.
Yeah.
And then I think in one of your posts you wrote that you're indie hacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You called it planning out rapid development as indie hackers.
Yeah. That'll be why. Google's picked that up quick. I wrote that like 4 days ago.
I just really want to know who you were. I was like, this guy's not got anything in his bio. I really want to know what he does.
Yeah. I wanted to put more time into actually like developing myself within the community and things, because I want to learn a lot, and obviously I've got a lot that I would like to give if I can as well, with things that I'm working on and stuff. So I'm going to get to that at some point. I just want to get my project I'm currently working on out of the way, and then, well, not out of the way, but live a bit, and then I'll go from there. But
well, congrats on handing in your resignation.
Yeah, it was good. It was weird though. I went to do it, and I was trying to leave permanently, and didn't happen. But I actually kind of like the team that I work with, so it's not really, well, kind of, I do like them, so it's not really the worst decision to have to make, to be honest. It was pretty straightforward. So now I'm working part-time, and it's good because it means I've got like less stress to make something work, which is definitely something I've heard it a few times, like listening to some of the podcasts and things on Indie Hackers, and I kind of didn't really think about it much, but now I've actually put myself in that position, I can kind of see why, like, having an income still, rather than just doing what most of us probably do, and that's just like, go for it, which is great. I am going for it, but to have a side income is nice.
Definitely. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you've just said, and even now, like all these, like we see these stories online, and we're like, oh man, to be a real entrepreneur, I need to pack it in. I need to throw my knapsack over the wall, and I need to cut the drawbridge behind me, And I tried that, and it was not good for me, in any capacity, not least mentally. So for me, it really helps having done it both ways, having an income, trying to make something work. Because I've found that it just hasn't worked out for me. But also, when I put pressure on myself, I found myself just striving to get from A to B as quickly as possible, and not caring about what I do. And it's like, actually, no, I actually want to do something I care about. But completely agree with what you said.
I found that as well, because that is a good point. Like, you do find that I found that, like, you just kind of, ideally, I kind of like to build things quickly, but the problem is like you say, when you're actually building something quickly, but then you're just skipping even more steps than you're supposed to skip, to the point where there's like less value now than what you intended in the product or the thing you're doing. then it's kind of like, yeah, the pressure, you can see the pressure materialize then, and then it starts to just build up and build up and build up, and then that's not going to end well. So I see where you're coming from there. Like, I don't really want to experience that too much, to be honest, if I don't have to. But having said that, I expect I will. So I learn by doing, so I'm going to have to make the mistake of jumping in and doing that first, I suspect.
Yeah, but I don't think you can put a price on that. Like they say, money isn't everything. I think having some money coming in and feeling like safe and secure and grounded is, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
There's also a serious difference, like to do a callback to when we're discussing, like, you get what you pay for. It's much harder to pay for something good if you have no money. So
right.
It's honestly, I feel worth it to build up. If you're gonna like quit and do it, then build up some money first, or keep your job and use that to fund different things. Like, it's very hard to start a business from like a mindset of scarcity and never like feeling like you need to do everything the cheapest way possible. It's very difficult. That's how I've tried to do it in the past, and it's really, really, really hard to get anything going.
Yeah.
But now that I'm like a few years into it and I've like freelanced for a while and have a little bit of money to actually invest into things,
yeah,
been making a huge difference in how much I can get done and the quality of what I can like pay for.
So have you been like freelancing on the side?
Been freelancing for the last couple years. It's gone well. It's honestly been a good source of income, and much for many fewer hours than a job would have been. Yeah, but it's not what I want to be doing forever, because it's always time for money. You know, it's still the same race.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah.
I was just thinking, for those that have just joined, one of the things we were talking about was like doing a side project alongside an income coming in, rather than just cutting the cord and just going at a project or business. I'm trying to think of anyone who has like just pulled the plug and built a successful business.
Yeah.
I think the people that do it, they have some kind of base they're going off of.
I'm not talking about Harvard Uni, Mark Zuckerberg's grads who joined Y Combinator, etc.
Yeah.
How many, like, I'm not sure I do know. Actually, I can't think of any examples of anyone who has done that.
I would recommend checking out Arlen. She's an investor, and she was homeless, and she went from nothing to raising a fund, millions of dollars, now supporting tons of Black African Americans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Arlen's pretty incredible. She's like the exception that proves the rule. Like, it's really, really hard to do. She managed to do it. Like, if possible, you should try to have a better base to build it off of.
Yeah, I always question it, like, because the base.
Now the question is, how much grind did she have to go through to get that breakthrough? Like, how much did she have to work?
Oh yeah.
To make that happen, and especially with the mindset, like, it's not easy. Like, oh no, just quit your job and that's not realistic. And the people who have done it, that I know, like, they do like more than 12 hours a day of work. So and having the plus the mindset, so it's not viable. Like, if don't quit your day job is the magic here, especially in the times now, which is an employer's market with so many people unemployed. It's not nice and not easy for if you want to even bootstrap, or if you have somebody who backs you up. That the way I say it is simple. You just need two ways: somebody on the other side who has a phone and has money to put on it. It's that easy. It's just finding out who is that person. Backstage capital.
I'm definitely on side. Don't be homeless when you're starting your business, if possible.
Yeah, I might make it a bit.
I think it'll be easier to have some kind of money to base that off of.
Yeah.
Because something here, like, if you don't have like at least a few months or 6 months to okay, I'm gonna be 6 months on my own that I can handle, put it on on saving, I would not quit any kind of job. Actually, I'm looking for jobs right now, so I can like put on top and funnel, you know, take from whatever I have steady income and then invest that on whatever side project. That's the idea of having a side project. It's like making the sacrifice on your job. You have 40 hours and then put 5 hours daily to whatever, 5 hours weekly to do whatever your project is, even if it takes two years. I think that's a better approach to what an indie hacker is than just quit and do your own, because it's not really that. And another thing I don't like having loans and asking what if that's people, that's another channel people have, you know, like you can ask for venture capitalism, somebody to invest on your idea. So there's always an opportunity. And something I see too is like whatever loss I take, I don't see it as a loss. I just see it as a learning opportunity. Like, okay, don't do that again. So if that helps any of you guys, if you want to help me out, you know, just keep going, man.
I think it also. Sorry, Edgardo. I think it also depends on how big a swing for the fences you take. When I put my ego to one side, I realised that being Mark Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos wasn't for me. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're, for example, if you're a marketer and you're building a marketing, offering freelance marketing services, where as opposed to, you know, if you're trying to build the next Tinder or Skype or whatever it might be. But yeah, just for me, in either case, just having an income coming in is the way to go for me. It's a humbling admission to make, but it's true for me.
Absolutely, I agree. Like there's nothing wrong with looking for jobs and making like, okay, I'm unemployed and then my work is gonna be looking for a job. Just go ahead and do that. You know, it's not like everybody's here like a super entrepreneur and doing like millions. You know, there's people who's making it and there's people who not making it. And we just try to learn from each other, you know, and get ideas. I've seen in other groups, there's people that have been 15, 20 years doing this freelancing and consulting, and then somebody comes out of the blue, hey, I got this idea, and they just take it. You know? So I think this is a great opportunity for people to share overall, and the idea is just get a job, go get a job. You know, it's not that hard.
So I want to bring up another topic of discussion for the hive mind. What do you guys think about building on somebody else's platform? Like, we've seen the drama recently on Twitter, perhaps with the Hey.com launch, and Apple kicked them out of the App Store because they didn't want to have an in-app payment. So they're kind of forced to decide, are we going to give Apple 30% of our profits, or are we going to just not be on the App Store? Have you guys built anything on top of another platform like Facebook or a Google Chrome extension or whatever? And if so, how did that go? What are your thoughts on it?
I've before delved into trying to build a Shopify app once. I think it's good if you want like a ready-made audience or certain bunch of people that you like, users you want to get. But there are a lot of risks to it, to building something on top of a platform, because, well, for instance, like what happens with Hey there, it can happen with anything. Like if you build a business on a single platform, you're taking a risk. Like if you're not spreading yourself out and try to mitigate that risk in some way, can be an issue. But yeah, I think there are a lot of advantages to it though. Like for example, there's a lot of things you have to take care of. If you're building an app for Shopify, for instance, there's already tons of APIs and data and things you can access, which makes stuff a lot easier. So there are pros and cons, but I've not delved into trying to build on top of a platform myself enough, to be honest, to give you a great view on it. But yeah, that's kind of a point I'd make. It's risky, but there's also a reward with it because it can save you time. So
again, with instinct says similar. It can be a great way to get started. You know, I see, even though it's not building on a platform, you know, what you do when you're kind of trying to utilize a Reddit community, or, you know, do marketing that way, right? But I think longevity only comes when you're building your own audience in your own place. So if you use a platform to help you get there, great. But I think longer term, it's not going to be sustainable in most instances. That's what my instinct says with limited direct experience.
I guess it's kind of unavoidable to start on someone else's platform in some way, at least for marketing.
Yeah.
It seriously sounds like a marketing gimmick to me, actually. Because I think they got quite a good number of audience just from the controversy.
They do say in their own book, like, start a fight with somebody, and it makes for good marketing material. It's like chapter 9, I think. Of rework. I used to work for a startup called Loom, and at the time they were just a Chrome extension. And I remember once they got just kicked off the Chrome store. They were just removed for no reason. And it was like 3 very hectic days of trying to get us reinstalled on the Chrome extension store. And it was like very hectic. And since then, they pivoted to being a native app because of that. It's like we have to not be reliant on somebody else's platform. But initially, it was where all their growth came from, because they were featured on the Chrome store all the time, and people were installing it through that. So I think maybe the takeaway is find a platform you can grow on, but then outgrow the platform as quickly as possible. At least that's been my takeaway.
And try and like Justin said, be in control of your users, or at least you know, have an email list or another way of capturing their information, right? So you can maintain you can build a relationship with them.
Yeah, some kind of plan B.
Yeah, I saw somebody like a story kicked out from Chrome store just a couple of weeks ago, I think, on Hacker News. I don't remember what was the plugin or like the organization, but it was the view count and the score for that was pretty high for this story. And then on YouTube, it happens periodically. I think like all the platforms have something like that now. And then developer were like, if you remember when Google made Google Maps like paid for many businesses, like it went from 0 to something extremely expensive overnight. And a lot of businesses were dependent on that, and it was just hard to switch to it. So those kind of things are very, very risky. But it's also like reputation is important. So now we know that Google does that, but some other companies don't. Like, so if you go on a platform, if you go on a reputation, if they did something like that in the past, like what are the stories and things like that, more you can anticipate possible risk better, I'd say.
It's like if you have an Amazon business, right?
There's some echo, so mute and unmute yourselves as you talk to limit it. If that hey.com is just a marketing ploy, though, it is super brilliant.
Have you got one?
Maybe we should be starting more fights for our own companies.
Have you got an email address, Anthony, with Hey?
No. I'm happy with my Gmail account.
Yeah.
My inbox is just not that hectic. Like, I unsubscribe from everything and just kind of like bulk delete. It's never gotten so bad that I feel like I need a special inbox.
Yeah.
But I understand that like some people have just crazy amount of email coming in, especially if they're like a public figure. Or I could see like it being useful. But I think it's mostly a vanity thing. Everybody just wants the cool new email.
I was going to say, yeah, it's yeah. That said, I was speaking to someone who has. I think he'd been using it for a day. Like he actually has been using it, and he really liked it. But yeah, I think a lot of the hype is around the @hey.com email, right? Or at least some of the hype is.
For sure, and it's like the Twitter famous already. The people promoting it, so they have a lot to build off of. They already.
I was going to say, can you imagine?
Customer base.
Yeah, taking on email, you need to really have a massive reputation, right, to get any sort of traction in that space.
Like Superhuman's a counterexample, right? I don't think those guys had any real pedigree before they launched.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Kind of a similar marketing scheme, though. Like exclusive, invite based at first, and then they grew from there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, they did a great job with marketing that, didn't they?
Can't think of any other like really good examples of like platform people growing out of platforms. I think it happens all the time though. Well, I guess a good example was, if you guys remember, what were the like games platform that was based on Facebook with the dog logo?
Zanga.
They had like the Farmville guys.
Yeah.
They built a huge company. A unicorn based on Facebook games, and then Facebook deprioritized games, and their most valuable asset was just their building in San Francisco in the end. They sold. It's like there's really no limit to how big you can fail on someone else's platform.
A lot of my clients lately have been from Facebook groups. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Like just target them people, like work on groups and look for, I need assistance on something programming, and you just send them a private message. Hey, I just charge this per hour, and you can get customers like that. It's definitely doable.
I think one thing
you guys remember APQ Trivia, the app, the quiz app? Yeah, that didn't end well.
That's through Facebook. They got 150 million people, like in a week. The one that they're doing with the woman, that you got your face and they change you. They're using Facebook, another platform for that, right? They're not using their own platform, and they got 150 million. I think you can put it up on there. You probably don't want to get off just use the platform until you think you're good for the platform. Like there's nothing wrong with using another person. It's actually good. Like the way I say it.
A lot of tools are built on was Rapportive plugin on top of Gmail. So I think what happens is once they start becoming famous, I think this like Google or LinkedIn, they start acquiring them. So I think I have seen like few plugins, like LinkedIn has acquired like such services which are built on top of LinkedIn. Similar with Google. Google has also acquired like I believe 6 to 10 companies in that, like which were built on top of Gmail. I can just think of Rapportive. I'm just trying to remember the other one which was there. LinkedIn, same thing with the LinkedIn.
So it's definitely a choice to build on top of someone else's. The thing is not to depend on just one platform. Like, let's say, just pick 3 platforms, and then if you're marketing yourself, or let's say Reddit. Mine right now, I'm focusing on Reddit, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I put my articles on LinkedIn. That's where I get my recruiters for jobs. And then I have my memes on Reddit, and then I have my other memes on Facebook. And the direct clients, I go to Facebook. And then Reddit is just for building viral stuff. So it's just pick 3 platforms you like, and then go on from there, and don't spread yourself too thin. Like there's so many platforms you can work on, like Twitter and Reddit, and just pick the ones that you like the most, that you think is where your market is. Right now is let's say for young people, Instagram is great for marketing. So if, let's say, your target is, like right now, mine is 18 to 24, I'm doing Facebook, I might go to Instagram too and share them on Instagram. So it's just not make it comfortable for yourself, and make yourself known. Once the people know you, they just start coming in. So you need a platform for that. It's not the same like just build Edgardo Santiago and then put everybody's. It's not. Let's say if I do it on my own, and because I tried it, let's dish everything and not use any platform, then you end up alone anyway. So I think it's always good to pick a platform that is for your market, and then focus on that platform. And then if you're having an issue, or like the platform just cuts you out, or you just have another platform that you don't depend on just one platform. Just have a backup for platform, just in case. Like, let's say Facebook is not working today. Well, I got LinkedIn, and then I got into LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is not working today. I'm gonna go back to Reddit. So it just depends on what platform is where your market is, and not even what you like. It's a mix. What do I like, and where is my market? And I think, like, if you plan on that and build upon that, you're gonna be good.
What do you guys think about, or how do you think about monetizing and pricing for what you work on?
In what respect? Sorry, Anthony.
Like when you're trying to determine how much you're going to charge for your service, say. What do you factor in? Or you just guess and hope it?
Number one for me. I was going to say, like, money mindset for me has been a huge thing that I have had to work on and continue to do so. Just thought I'd throw that one out there straight away.
What's the TLDR on money mindset?
The TLDR is like a guilt, and like a weird, weird guilt thing that's attached to kind of making money and charging money, and honoring my worth. Maybe not the answer you were expecting, but yeah, it's something
we kind of cut you off.
I've been pricing my community recently, as I've going from like beta to the main thing now, and I'm still it's been an interesting process. But in terms of actual kind of tangibles, for me, it's kind of what competitors are doing, which has been quite difficult for me personally, because I'm in quite a niche space. I think.
Were you monetized from the get-go, or did you start free and then monetize?
I gave my earliest subscribers, like about 100 subscribers, a free membership. And then I started charging $6, and it's currently at $10. It's still like early bird beta. And I'm probably looking at about $25 for the main version, which I'm transitioning to right now. But yeah, I run like a community, so I've thought about questions like, yeah, kind of what value are they getting? How much? What's my community worth? How many members do I need for me to make the amount of money that I want to make for this project? Stuff like that.
That makes sense. Jashwant, I think you had a point and we cut you off on it.
Oh yeah, pricing is, it's always an issue. So what you think you're worth, your customer or user doesn't agree with it, right? So it's always you're in that kind of in between. So it's the only way out is A/B testing out on let's just say it depends on 3 different groups, on 2 different groups. I like I said, Anthony, you set a price for X group of people and you set another price for Y group of people, and you go in between the same pricing to the to a Z group of people. So whichever is it turns out good, that's where you find your pricing. That's what I think. How to get to that pricing stage, because you never know. You think you're worth it $100, where your user thinks you're just half of it, or even less than that.
Yeah. I guess A/B testing, probably testing. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So I think one more factor is also your customer acquisition cost. So again, I think that depends. I think that should be one of the factors to drive pricing. Like if it's really high, you can't have low pricing. So I think that again, based on how you do the lead generation, I think it differs from business to business, but I think that is a crucial factor.
Do you have an example from your own experience?
So I have been part of one boot camp where they had they were just talking about it. It was they had balance sheet for 3 years, kind of projections, and they were saying the cost of acquisition, if it changes from say $35 to just $40, how much impact it has in 3 years. Again, that's on paper, but they were just trying to show why the cost of acquisitions is really important. They were saying just that $5 change. I mean, you can business. So normally when you raise funds, for example, they were giving the saying you raise for maybe next 18 months, and then they suddenly show if the cost of acquisition goes from 35 to $40, you will be in red for next 3 years instead of going positive in after 18 months. So that was small changes. They were just comparing we don't care about that aspect, but how it matters in the actual world. So it was very, very good practical example. And the guy who was presenting it, he had actually built a couple of e-commerce companies and had sold it to he had executed successfully. So it was very good to get that knowledge from
that. Peter Levels has this great video. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so the funny part is I was reading one of the articles and they were talking about all the tiers you have, right? So they always have one base tier, one standard tier, and one top tier. And always you should promote one tier, just saying this is the most popular plan. Even if you don't have the users, you should just say that is the most popular plan. That is one of the marketing gimmicks. It was saying how it impacts the customer psychology. You just kind of highlighted it's a popular plan and stuff. It was interesting thing.
Well, we have about 3 minutes, so this feels like we're drawing to an end here. This session should have been recorded, so if that succeeded, it'll go up on YouTube in the next week. And if you want us to backlink to whatever you're working on, your personal Twitter in the YouTube description, you can just send me a link you want, and I'll add it to the YouTube description. It's a little bit easy backlinks. What else? Yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Our next event is going to be on July 1st, and we have a guest speaker. who has a lot of experience with selling their side projects. They've sold like over a dozen at all kinds of different stages. So I think it's going to be really interesting to get to talk to them. So keep an eye out for that. I'll share it probably on Monday everywhere. But it'll go out to the email list first and then Slack and Facebook. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming. Hope you all have a great weekend and see you next time.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.